Hey everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Eric with Mountain State Overland, and this is our 2021 Tundra Crew Max build that we've built together over the last 8 months. The first thing that we did when this truck was completely stock was install an electrical panel that would make it really easy to add on all the different components and electrical accessories, and including wiring the camper into the starter battery as well. They make a nice electrical panel that makes it really easy to wire in things like the radio, the camper, and also has a Switch Pros switch system in here for all of our accessory controls. So that was the very first thing that we did.
So after we did that, the next thing that we did was install the snorkel, and that was because of our learnings with our old Tacoma, which unfortunately had a hydro-locked engine after a trip. So we wanted to make sure that anytime we were doing water crossings, that was totally safe and taken care of. So that was my first time drilling into the truck, which was a little bit nerve-wracking, but it turned out great.
So we have Victory 4x4 armor all the way around. We have an aluminum front bumper, aluminum skids, and steel sliders that make sure that everything is protected while we're wheeling. We have a worn Xeon Platinum winch in here. That's a 12,000 pound winch with a synthetic line. One other little touch that we added was actually a light for the winch, just for safety reasons. In terms of wheels, tires, and suspension, we have Bilstein suspension front and back. We have the 8112s in the front. These are the non-adjustable shocks in the front. And we have 8100s in the back. And we actually installed that all in our driveway. Rach did the rear suspension pretty much by herself.
Yep.
And then that's all supplemented with an Alu-Cab custom leaf pack. We went with only 1 inch of lift in the back with a 1,200 pound over stock payload to make sure that we were all set in terms of managing the weight of the camper and all of the gear that we're carrying with us. For wheels and tires, we have Method 701s. And we have Toyo RT Trails, which are kind of a hybrid tire. They're really great for going both on and off pavement, and they've been really, really good to us.
Lots of muddy roads.
So up on top of the cab here, we have another Victory 4x4 roof rack. And on top of the rack, we're carrying a small light bar that's left over from our Tacoma. We actually have the Starlink flat mounted up there in a star mount. And then we have 4 Max Tracks up there with a GP Factor mount as well. So makes it really nice and easy to access the Max Tracks actually. And these mounts are actually very friendly to Max Tracks that are covered in clay and mud and everything like that.
All right, so this is Jackson, then Ruthie, and we wanted to make sure that we had all sorts of storage for all of their gear. So we custom built a drawer system just to house all of their gear. So we have all of their food, their treats, water bottles, and all sorts of goodies for them in there just to make sure they're nice and happy on the road. We put this on a goose gear platform just to make sure it was nice and level. We wanted to also have some really nice cubby space just to store extra towels, and we've got kind of this carpet in a way that we put out just to, you know, if we're out on the beach or out on some muddy floors. Hi. Yeah, so anyways, we have lots of good stuff that we can kind of house back here. We also have another molly panel back here for lots of miscellaneous items. We also have kind of a secret hidden cubby back here behind the drawer, and we keep all of our tools in there. So anytime we need to adjust something while we're on the road, or if for some reason we needed to take a tire off, we have all of our tools in there.
So sticking with the theme of having storage and everything like that, we have some Victory 4x4 molly panels on each of the doors, or we have some Blue Ridge Overland Gear general purpose pouches. This is where I keep work gloves. This is where I keep my primary kind of headlamp for when we're around camp. So that all lives in the door with some bear spray, bug spray, sunscreen, and also gloves. We have our Switch Pros mounted on a Honda Garage vent mount. This is where I can control all of the lighting as well as our ARB compressor. And now on the dash, we have an Expedition Essentials dash mount with a phone holder as well as a Garmin tread. It's been really handy on our guided trips and for our trip out west to Utah and Colorado, where we don't actually need internet connectivity for using this at all. We can route to hospitals really easily, and it also includes Garmin InReach, so we're able to communicate between the trucks. All right, let's show you around the camper. We have a 270-degree awning that we're standing under, and that allows us to camp in pretty much any weather. That's all mounted to an Alu-Cab Mod-Cap Canopy Camper for the full-size trucks. This is the newest version of the Canopy Camper series, which is highly modular. So the bed portion above up here is actually a separate piece from the canopy portion, which is down below. And what that allows Alu-Cab to do is actually manufacture a few different toppers. So we have the 2-sleep. So we have a bed up there, which is good enough for 2 people to sleep. But they also make a model called the Mod-Cap family, which is actually bigger than a king-size bed and can sleep up to 4 full-size adults upstairs. And they also have just a plain metal cap that turns this into a proper canopy in case you want to turn this more into like a work vehicle, etc.
So part of why we wanted to do a custom build out was so that when we were in bad weather, we had a place to kind of stay and hang out inside the camper instead of just having to go up top and sit on the bed. So we wanted to make sure we had some really comfortable seating. And then also when the dogs are in the back with us when we're sleeping, we wanted to make sure they had lots of comfortable rooms. So they curl up perfectly on a couch over here. We put together the cushions and the pillows. I learned how to sew doing that, which was pretty fun. And then we've got a huge storage area, which has all of our recovery gear down here, and then an additional drawer as well. Also wanted to make sure that when we have kind of the drawers and the fridge installed, that we have like a nice work area. So in case we are, cooking inside or something, we wanted to make sure that all of this was really usable space. So I'll let Eric show you around the rest of the truck.
This is where we do most of our living outside of the camper. So we have our propane tank. This is an 11-pound propane tank in a GP factor mount. This mount is actually really, really nice because if we need to pull the propane tank out, it just rests in there like that. In other mounts that exist on the market, you kind of had to hold the tank in while you undid the latches and stuff, and you had risk of this thing falling. But with this mount, it just cradles in there pretty nicely. All of these Alu-Cab campers are the same for the full size, are the same from the bed size up. And what is different is from here down, which is called the fitment kit. And the fitment kit makes it really, really easy to tinker and add things on because it's just aluminum. So on the panels here, we have our water dispenser. This is just gravity fed water. We have our plug-in for our shore power. This goes right into the Red Arc Manager 30. And then we have our propane hookup, which makes sure that we can use the propane safely. It's only hooked up when we're at camp, when we're not moving or anything like that. So if for whatever reason there is an accident, this is well protected and out of the way. And then one nice touch that I actually am weirdly proud of is our soap dispenser here. It's really, really handy. We do a lot of cooking right around here. We pop up the Alu-Cab table that gets set right here, and it becomes a really good cooking station and hand washing station, especially when we have the dogs and are out and about doing recoveries and everything like that. One thing that we wanted to do when doing our custom build out was make sure that we were able to camp in cold weather. So we actually did insulation on the whole bed, as well as the sides, on the door, and the wind doors as well. Each of the kind of utility components, our heater, our spare batteries, and all that kind of stuff is tucked out of the way. But it was really important that because we were installing these like big modules, that everything needed to be really easily accessible and serviceable. So we have these sliding doors, which is where we can reach in here and actually get access to our heater and all the gas connections, the on and off switch, and all the wiring. Up front, we have another 100 amp hours of battery behind a similar sliding door. We made this floor plate out of 11 ply birch plywood that we coated in polyurethane and then actually put some hydroturf. So this is the same kind of material that makes up like a lot of boat decking and is kind of like the soft foamy stuff that you see on like jet skis and a lot of like marine applications. And the group that we got it from, Prodigy Boats, they were actually kind enough to actually cut the Mountain State Overland logo into the floor. So that's a nice little custom touch. So thanks to the people over there. So we have this GP Factor drop-down table. What's really nice about this table is not only is it's like really sturdy, but it also has a removable bamboo cutting board that makes it really easy to prepare meals. So we had tomahawk steaks cut on this, we've had charcuterie boards on this, and once everything's prepped, you can just pull this out and carry it over to the picnic table where everyone's gathering. On the top part of the drawer, we have more storage from Blue Ridge Overland gear. This is their cook kit, which is where we keep our cooking utensils. We also have our sporks and individual eating utensils here, which are really easily accessible. We don't want to be climbing in and out of the truck every time we have to do that. And then we have our headlamps and things that we might need to use around camp right there as well. It's not mounted yet, but we will have a Deemer Box Bluetooth speaker on a quick release mount right here, and have a Expedition Essentials paper towel mount, which we just keep our shop towels in here, which are really helpvul around camp. So these handles right here make it easy to close the actual camper and just pull ourselves up. And then we have a Wolf Box rear view camera that is always on. So because the camper is mounted to the truck, we lose our rear view mirror. And so making sure that we have a video feed to the very front of the cab ensures that we always have visibility no matter where we are and what we're driving. It adds a lot of confidence when we're driving this big truck down the road. So this is the brains of the camper. It manages all of the electrical system, connecting our starter battery under the hood to our house batteries in here, and then it provides switches for all the different accessories that exist in the camper. So we have our lights, we have our heater, we have these extra fans that are really, really great to provide circulation in the warmer months. We have lots of 12 volt USB kind of chargers, and we can also turn on the Starlink from here, which is really nice, just as easy as clicking the button. This also powers our inverter, which is a 2000 watt inverter, which is a lot of power. But we also wanted the option to use a space heater in here if for whatever reason we ran out of propane or just needed some extra heating power. We have our full-size spare mounted on the rear door. Typically the spare tires are mounted underneath the truck, which is not too great if you're in muddy, rutted out trails. Trying to fish a spare tire out from underneath would be very, very difficult and very, very unsafe. So we've mounted that to the rear of our door and put a Blue Ridge Overland Gear extra large trash bag on the rear. This holds so much trash. And it ends up becoming kind of the go-to place for our guided trips and our team trips, where if we stop for snacks or stop after a certain part of the route, everyone typically goes and picks up trash that they can find and just tosses it in here because it's big enough to hold all of that extra trash.
So one of the things that we really wanted to make sure we had was a little bit of extra light in the back of the camper. So we have these windows on either wind door, which is so nice for letting in some extra breeze, letting in a little bit of extra light, and gives us a little bit of fresh air too. Moving over here, we have an awesome shower cube up here. So part of the reason why we added the water pump was so that we could take showers when we're out on the trails. We could wash the dogs off if we need to, but it'll just come in real handy when we need it, when we're especially dirty. Well, we love how our build turned out. It's been so much fun working on it together, and I'm really excited for all the adventures that we're about to take it on.
Yeah, we want to give a big shout out to all of our partners and friends who have both contributed product and just supported us along the way. You can follow us at mountainstateoverland.com, on YouTube, MS Overland, on Instagram, MS Overland, and keep an eye out for some of our build videos and a trip to Alaska next summer.